At first, nothing looks dangerous. A large oil tanker moves through the cold waters of the North Atlantic. Gray sky, calm waves, just another ship on the ocean. Or so it seems. But this ship would soon trigger one big question. Are the United States and Russia heading toward a direct confrontation? In late December, U.S. forces stopped and boarded a ship sailing under the Russian flag, far from land, about 200 kilometers south of Iceland, in international waters. The ship's name was Marinera, and what happened next shocked many observers, because this was not just about one ship, it was about sanctions, power, and how far the United States is willing to go. And maybe more importantly, how far Russia is willing to tolerate it. The Marinera was stopped by the U.S. Coast Guard in international waters. This was not an accident. This was not a misunderstanding. The operation was planned for weeks. A U.S. federal court approved the seizure. Military aircraft tracked the ship, allies were informed, and the United States did not act alone. The United Kingdom played a key role. British surveillance planes watched the tanker from the air. British bases in Scotland and England were used by U.S. forces. Without British support, this operation would have been much harder, maybe impossible. This already tells us something important. This was serious. So why did the U.S. do it? The short answer, oil and sanctions. U.S. authorities say the Marinera was involved in illegal oil transport, oil connected to sanctioned countries like Venezuela and Iran. The ship's owner is a company based in Turkey, Lace Marine Shipholding Enterprises. This company is already under U.S. sanctions. Washington claims it has links to Iran's Revolutionary Guards. That matters a lot. The Revolutionary Guards are not just soldiers. They are one of the most powerful groups in Iran. They control money, they control companies, they control large parts of the oil trade. If they are involved, this is not small business. This is geopolitics. But here's where the story gets strange. The Marinera did not start as a Russian ship. It changed its name. It changed its flag. It changed its identity. At one point, it was falsely registered under the flag of Guinea. Later, after a failed attempt to stop it, the ship suddenly became Russian, almost like something out of a cartoon. New name painted on the hull, different flag raised, same ship, new identity. Russia officially allowed the ship to sail under its flag on December 24th. So when the U.S. stopped it, it had been Russian for less than 2 weeks. And yet, it was still sailing under the Russian flag. That is why people became nervous. There were even reports that Russia sent a submarine to protect the tanker. Imagine that. A U.S. boarding operation, a Russian submarine somewhere nearby. Cold water, high tension. But nothing happened. No confrontation, no warning shots, no standoff. Later, pro-Russian sources said the submarine arrived too late. The operation was already over. Still, Moscow was angry. Russian officials accused the United States of breaking international law. They pointed to a UN agreement that protects freedom of navigation at sea. They demanded fair treatment for the Russian crew. The United States answered differently. U.S. officials said this was about security and sanctions enforcement, and they made one thing very clear. U.S. sanctions apply everywhere, even in international waters. This is where the real message lies. The United States is saying, we will enforce our rules, globally. That is a bold claim, and it raises a big question. Could this lead to war? The realistic answer is no. Russia has almost nothing to gain from escalation, not over one tanker, not over a ship that only recently became Russian. And Russia knows this. The United States is still the stronger military power, and Washington has many ways to increase pressure, especially through Ukraine. If the US wanted to act, it could, and Moscow knows that. This is not about war. It is about sending a signal. Done waiting, done hesitating, ready to act, even far from home.